This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and hard as it may seem to believe, we are at our final go-round with Jazz Under the Stars. We'll finish things up this coming Thursday in the new McGrath Amphitheater, downtown Cedar Rapids. More about that in a minute, but right now, say hi to our musical guests for the evening. From Shade of Blue, Dave Rosazza, Matt Bernemann, and Denny Ketelsen. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So first off, I got to lead off with a little story. So years before I ever got to KCCK, 1996 to be exact, some friends invited me to Jazz Under the Stars. And so we went, and a picnic. I'd never been before, never even, working at KCCK was, I was doing something else, wasn't even a glimmer. And that was the first time I ever saw Shade of Blue.
Oh, wow. So we're responsible for you being at KCCK.
I think so.
We'll take that.
I think so, yeah. So now fast forward years,
yep.
And you guys were very much a touring and happening band in the 90s all across eastern Iowa and the Midwest, and then you took a little bit of a hiatus, and now you're back together again.
Yeah.
So yay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, let's talk about the early days for just a little bit. Tell me about, how the band came together, because it's definitely an eclectic lineup.
Right.
And then we'll fast forward to today.
I'll give the short story fast. It started as a blues trio in '89, and just three of us, myself included. And the original drummer is an automotive professor here, Todd Hesseltine, which is kind of fun. Tied to Kirkwood there. But and then over time, we added Saul Luberoff on saxophone. Sean Seaton played piano. When Sean left, Denny joined us. And then in true form later, when one came back, we kept both of them. That's like the rock thing, right? That's what you do. But
that's how you end up with two guitars, three drummers.
Yep. And then eventually in college, Ken Fillard joined the band, and I got involved with Voices of Soul, which is the University Gospel Choir at Iowa. And Ken introduced us to Joan and Simone through that. So.
Okay.
And then later on, Matt joined us about 16 years ago now.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So you're the baby.
He is.
I am.
We're representing early, middle, and late here. So, and then Joan and Simone joined the band, and just everything clicked, and we all, and that's where we are now.
And then as you do, everybody kind of went their own ways for a while. And who had the idea to get the band back together?
It's funny. Simone, back in 2012, was going to come back for a reunion on homecoming weekend at Iowa, and the idea just kicked around about let's get everybody together and see who can do it, and we did, and we added Paul Cunliffe on percussion. So it made us a 9-piece band. Yeah. And then we booked a few gigs for that weekend and just had a blast. It was just like nothing ever stopped.
And now it's kind of become an annual thing.
Yep.
But for a couple of weeks a year or so, you guys are back together.
We call it a mini tour.
There you go. So, because I know you're hitting Jazz Under the Stars, and then over the weekend you're going to be at the Iowa Soul Festival.
Yes, we are on that Saturday, yeah. Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about the sound of the band, for those who may not be familiar with it.
Funk, R&B, the sound in terms of what makes it, I don't know,
it's an eclectic
unique
mix,
to our, there's a lot of, just in terms of musicianship, there's a lot of variety within the band, because I came, when I started playing drums, like a lot of kids that grew up in the late 70s, I was a Kiss fan. So I started playing drums because...
So when you think of soul and funk, Kiss is the first band.
Exactly. So with my hard rock background in high school, and then I get to college and wanted to be a part of the jazz department at the University of Iowa, I pretty much invested all of my musical energy in jazz drumming. So just my own personal experience, I've kind of had a lot of different groups I've played in with different styles, and so it's hard to not have that show up in the music of Shade of Blue. And a lot of the other members of the band are like that too, that we come from different musical backgrounds.
Very diverse,
and so, we're all sort of under this umbrella of funk, R&B, soul music. But to say that that's the only music that we grew up with and was a part of our lives would not be accurate. It's more, way more eclectic than that.
Well, the name kind of implies Shade of Blue. Everything has a blues tint to it.
That's right. Everything is rooted in the
jazz,
blues.
soul, blues, gospel, whatever. It's all that way.
Denny, you have played in more bands than I've owned cars in my life.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. What is it that makes this one unique?
Oh, this was really fun. For me, Well, the singers are great. Musicianship is great. But the real exciting thing for me as a keyboard player is having a Hammond B3 player and a piano player simultaneously. Something you don't see very often. I think it really adds a nice dimension to the band. It's fun for me too, because when you're a keyboard player, you think you've got to cover a lot. In this sense, you don't have to cover as much. You can give them more space, and it's really a fun experience to do.
Talking with a gentleman from Shade of Blue about the upcoming show. We're going to be at the McGrath Amphitheater. Who has been there or who has played there?
I've been there, but not played there.
Saw Chicago there.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. I saw you. I saw you there.
It's a great place.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's we love being in Norridge Park, and it's a shame after having seen you first in Norridge Park in 1996 not to bring you back there. But we designed this with some intention. I mean, there's a purpose to this, because the thing that the McGrath Amphitheater has that Norridge Park does not have is a nice concrete apron for dancing,
which we require at every show.
Which is a rule.
It is.
Which is a rule if you're going to see Shade of Blue. So and of course we've got a much superior stage lighting setup, and of course as we get later in August and it gets darker a little bit earlier, it will be a much bigger pleasure to watch the band underneath the good lights than in those yellow bug lights that the band shell is famous for.
Yeah.
So do you, bearing in mind, of course, that you can't do a lot of different stuff because you're only together for a couple of weeks a year, and there's not a ton of time to do new repertoire. But do you change things in and out? Does
We try to add
change?
two or three songs each time we get together. So like this year, we've been working on 3 tunes, which I won't say what they are.
Okay, yeah, no spoilers.
But then last time around, we did, I'd say, 3 new ones as well. Brought them in, and we'll try more than 3, and usually settles into those. These are the keepers, Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great concert coming up this Thursday, the 27th, McGrath Amphitheater. And for those who wonder how it works differently at McGrath than it does in Norridge Park, the answer is it pretty much works the same. Yeah. Parking, have to kind of use surface parking and park where you can. We don't have the great parking lots that we do at Norridge, but bring your lawn chair, bring your cooler, bring whatever you want to eat or drink. We'll have our normal vendors there as well. But just looking forward to a great conclusion to the 29th season of Jazz Under the Stars.
Wow.
So I've been looking forward to this one all year. It's been I've been really excited when we looked like our schedules were going to mesh, so that our schedule would happen at the same time as your 2-week mini tour. So great to have Shade of Blue back together and at Jazz Under the Stars. And I've ordered good weather.
Oh, we guarantee it.
So we're gonna have a great time. Denny, Matt, and Dave, thanks so much for being here today, and we'll see you on Thursday at the park.
Sounds good.
Thanks, fellas.
That's great.